Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. And today we're going to do a little cleaning of this Ruger Vaquero, chambered in 45 Colts. We're going to take it out to the range, but before we do that, I'd like to give all the guns a thorough cleaning before we head on out. You know, cleaning supplies for a revolver, there are some specialty items that you can pick up, but for the most part, we're going to stick with most of what you'd find in most of your cleaning boxes around the house. First things first, to clean the barrel, you know, you have a lot of options. I prefer to use a bore snake or bore brush. So this is just a Hoppy's bore snake or Allen bore snake, chambered in 44, 45, or 454 to work for all three calibers. We're going to use that to clean out the barrel and also to clean out the chambers of the cylinder, or if you have a bore brush, you can use that too. Just a standard cleaning brush. You can use an old toothbrush if you want to. These are nylon bristles. They won't scratch up the metal at all. Keep everything nice and clean. Obviously, it's good to have some Q-tips for some fine detail work. You can cut up an old cotton t-shirt if you have one. I say that in every video, or I just buy these Allen cleaning patches. You can get them up at Walmart or sporting goods stores or mom and pop gun stores. I'm going to be using Cleanse Oil. It is my cleaner of choice for the majority of the videos that I've been making over the last couple months now. You know, you can use Break-Free CLP if you want to. You can use Rem Oil, pretty much whatever works best for you. And if you happen to have a like a single piece cleaning rod, these are kind of nice to have to put a patch in to run through the chambers or even down the barrel just to soak up any excess oil. Always good to have a cup of coffee, and today we've got some Italian roast from the Mill, which is one of my favorite coffee shops in Lincoln, Nebraska. They've got several locations. Do check it out. I do recommend that you wear some nitrile or some rubber gloves while you're doing your cleaning. You can keep that lead and that powder off your skin, as well as any of the cleaners that you're going to be using. If you don't, just make sure that you wash off your hands with cold water initially to seal up your pores, and then use warm soapy water to get all the lead off your hands, and so on. When it comes to cleaning the front of the cylinder, you know, this does have some burn rings on it. Because this is not my revolver, I'm not going to be taking any kind of polish to it. I don't want to risk messing up the metal, but you can use stainless steel or chrome polishes on the front of the cylinder. You just simply wipe it on with a patch and buff it out, and eventually those burn rings are going to disappear. There are some people that freak out and say, oh, if you do that, you're going to be, you know, thinning out the tolerances, and you could create a gap right here between the cylinder and the barrel. You know, I really can't really be the judge on that. I would think it would take a considerable amount of rubbing and polishing for that to happen. You know, if you take like a lathe or something to it, obviously you could do some damage. So for all we're going to do for this video is just the cleaning oil and brush and just scrub it up a little bit and see what we can do to clean it up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and ensure that the revolver is in fact unloaded. So with this particular model, you've got this side gate or loading gate on the side. Go ahead and open that up and check each of the chambers and confirm that they're empty. They are. This is a very cool revolver. I cannot wait to get it out and take it to the range and shoot it. Okay, now the next thing you want to do is press on this little plunger right here, this button, and we're going to remove what's called the base pin, or the pin that keeps the cylinder in place so that we can in fact remove the cylinder. Okay, just make sure that you keep pressure on that little button and this pin will just pop right out. Okay, once you pull that pin forward as far as it's going to go ahead and push open the side gate, and you can just remove your cylinder going that route. Obviously, you don't want to over-oil the firearm. The more lubrication that you use, the more risk you run of attracting dirt and grime and crud and so on to the firearm. So go ahead and just start off by wiping out the inside of the frame. And you can go over this a couple times with a patch if you need to. Okay, just go ahead and wipe off that little side gate. Love the stainless steel finish on this. It's cool, but at the same time, you can always definitely see that carbon fouling and carbon buildup that you get on the revolver itself. So take a couple patches to it. If you want to, you can use your brush and just scrub out the inside. Feel free to do so if you want to. This revolver is not too dirty. I don't know how much it's been shot. I did look up the serial number on it. It was manufactured in the mid-1990s, sold in 1995, according to what the Ruger website had to tell me. One part that you definitely want to get is on top of the barrel up here. You almost have to kind of floss it up a little bit. There's a little gap up here where the top of the frame is, where it meets the barrel. Just go ahead and get your patch up there and kind of go through it a little bit and scrub it. Get any buildup out of there. Now I'm also going to go ahead and put a few drops of cleaner down the barrel. We're going to let that marinate for a little bit. Even though we're going to use the bore snake, which is basically going to scrub it out, it's not a bad idea to just kind of let that soak in, especially if you got a lot of lead buildup in those grooves. Okay, now at this point, go ahead and wipe off that base pin right here. If you want, you can go ahead and push that back in, push the plunger down. It'll go back in place. That'll allow you to get to the rest of the pin to wipe it off. And Cleanse Oil, it's kind of interesting when you use this product. I'm not endorsed by them at all, but I do really like how well it works. One thing about it is you can leave it on and then come back a couple minutes later and hit it with another coat, and it'll take off any of the buildup that you might have on there. So it's almost like it can either be a one-step or two-step cleaning process. So you can apply it, wipe it on, wipe it off, and be done with it. Or you can apply it, let it sit for a little while, come back with more cleanse oil, and take more of it off. So we're gonna go ahead and push that base pin back and go ahead and press up on your ejection rod, this button right down here. So that's gonna allow the ejection rod to come forward. And you can go ahead and just wipe that off, give that a little bit of a scrub too. Get any carbon fouling or buildup or rust you might be getting on there. Again, you don't want to leave an excess amount of oil on the firearm. It's not necessary. There we go. Now, another thing that I like to do is to put a couple drops of cleaning oil on a Q-tip. And just go ahead where the ejection rod spring is, just go ahead and brush some of that down in there. Go ahead and press it a couple times. Get that lubricated and protected. There you go. Okay, no problems there. We're gonna go ahead and pull that base pin forward again, let that sit. There we go. Go ahead and put the side loading gate closed and pull back on the hammer. Take your Q-tip, drop oil on it. We're not going to take off the side plate of the revolver, but we're just gonna go ahead and wipe out the inside here. One single drop of oil. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's just gonna get out the dirt and the grime. And if this comes off excessively dirty, you know, feel free to do this a couple times. Give it a good scrub. You're not going to hurt anything. For whatever reason, I just prefer to use Q-tip brand Q-tips. I find that they don't fall apart as easily as the El Cheapos do. Some of your no-name brand Q-tips. I know it's not a big deal, but when you clean as many firearms as I do in a year, you know, or maybe consider getting some Birchwood Casey's. I know they make a really good cotton swab too that you can use for cleaning. Okay, that looks good. We're going to go ahead and wipe off the reverse side of the hammer here, front and the back, all the way around. It's coming out nice and clean. Looks good. Okay, so at this point, we will go ahead and clean out your barrel. Go ahead and lightly, gently let down the hammer with your finger on the trigger. Now, there are some guys that like to use traditional, you know, copper or brass brush. You can do that if you want to clean your bore out. Me, I just have good luck with these bore snakes. I don't run so many rounds down the barrel that there's a massive buildup in the barrel because I do clean the guns after every single range trip. And I do find that these bore snakes tend to work pretty good for the most part. And there's nothing wrong with using a straight cleaning rod if you want to. But I do like using the bore snakes because you can go from the back to the front. And you can get some brushes that you just pull through on a string. Just the bristle brush itself, that's always an option also. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this through just a couple times to clean out the barrel. Okay, I'm gonna do that 3 times. And then we will take a look at the barrel and see how clean it is. If it's gotten all the fouling out of there, if the barrel looks nice and smooth and shiny, you are good to go. Okay, go ahead and repeat that one more time, and 3 pushes through should take care of most of what you need. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but that barrel is nice and clean. Probably not, but I can see it on my end. And we are good to go. All right, so go ahead and set the revolver off to the side at this point. Now again, like I said, with the cylinder, if you happen to have a lot of buildup on the front, some burn rings, I want you guys to chime in on the video. What works for you? I mean, I've heard there's lots of different kinds of stainless steel cleaners you can use. Some guys like to use like mag wheel polish. Like I said, with this not being my revolver, I'm not going to take any chances scratching the metal, so I don't want to mess it up. I'm just going to use a little bit of the cleanse oil. I'm going to let it soak in for a few minutes. Scrub it off with a brush, but do chime in and let me know what works for you guys. What do you guys do, or what works for you? What do you use when you clean the front of your stainless steel cylinders? I'm sure all of you have your own little tried and true methods that you like to use. This isn't going to take hardly any of this off, but again, like I said, not my revolver. So, okay, we're going to work on that for just a little while here. You can also take a Q-tip with a drop of oil on it and go ahead and run that down the center part of your cylinder here to get that cleaned out. See, there's a buildup in there. I'm going to take a couple Q-tips to it to get that cleaned out. Don't leave any excess oil in that particular part, but do leave it nice and clean. So just go ahead and get in there and scrub it out with your Q-tip a little bit. Okay, on the back side of the cylinder, go ahead and apply some cleaner around here, these little notches that you have that turn your cylinder. Get in there, scrub that out. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and put a couple drops of oil down each chamber. Don't worry, we're going to wipe off all this excess when we get done, so you guys don't have to freak out. We're not going to leave it this oily at the end. If you have a brass bristle brush, or if you have a copper bristle brush that's chambered in 45 or 44, well, I'd prefer 45. You can go ahead and use that to scrub these out. That's what I'm going to do. This is just a nylon brush, so we're just going to scrub it, each chamber. I like this brush. This just came with one of my handguns. I really can't even tell you which one. Anytime I get these bristle brushes, I just throw them in the pistol box, and then I can use them interchangeably. Some of these have come with some really nice ones, some nice brass ones before that I've used to do lots of cleaning videos with. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, now what we want to do is go ahead and take a patch with 1 drop of oil on it, and we're going to run that through each of the chambers, okay, of the cylinder. So from back to the front, just go ahead and scrub, get all that excess out of there. Now, if you do any more scrubbing on the front or the back of the cylinder, you may need to go back in and clean out the chambers again, because you could have some particles or debris that go in there, but these are looking really nice. These are looking really good. There we go. It's nice and shiny, nice and clean inside. And now we will take a dry patch, and we're going to go ahead and run that through each of the chambers. It's still going to leave just a little tiny bit of oil in each one of those, but we're going to get rid of any excess oil. The last thing that you want is your cleaners and solvents and so on coming in contact with your ammunition. And this will also show us if there's any more dirt or dust or grime or carbon fouling left in these chambers. If your patch comes out excessively dirty, you can hit it with another patch if you want to and another coat of oil. This one's a little dirty. We're going to go and repeat that process again. Okay, go ahead and wipe off your cylinder with the dry patch. We're going to get off any excess oil. Okay, stop and take a sip of your coffee before we continue the reassembly process. Okay, all right. Now to put your cylinder back in, it's very simple. Make sure you have your side gate open. Just go ahead and drop it in. Okay, as such. Go ahead and press your base pin back in. You're going to have to line that back up. Push your plunger down. Okay, there we go. It's going to lock back into place. Go ahead and spin your cylinder a little bit. Okay, sounds good. Go and check your lockup. Okay, that's secure. You can go ahead and just run through it a couple times. Don't dry fire it, but just hold on to that hammer and release it. I got a little bit of grime right here we're going to catch. So at this point, we just got a couple drops of oil on a patch. We're just going to go ahead and finish wiping off the remainder of the firearm. If you guys have a preference on the type of cloth you like to use for stainless steel firearms, make sure you chime in down below in the feedback and let me know. If you have a preference for a type of oil that you like to use for the exterior part of the firearm, something to keep it nice and shiny, or some sort of a cleaner that you like to use, definitely let me know. But this one cleaned up nice. It does look good. You know, it's pretty hard to beat the quality of Ruger firearms. I mean, they've been pretty consistent over the years. And we cannot wait to get this Vaquero out and go have a good time with it. So guys, this is Travis P11. Thanks for watching my video and cleaning of the Ruger Vaquero chambered in .45 Colts. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm over on Gunstreamer, UGEtube, guntube.org, all over the place, obviously YouTube. And we have a little podcast that we do on Saturday mornings called Caliber Corner. Make sure you do check that out. That is on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time. The best time zone in the world. Make sure you do check it out. But in the meantime, I want you guys to have fun, be safe, get out to the range, shoot those revolvers. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.